Hi guys, what is going on? Now, in today's video, the title is true unfortunately. So you join me at the local park, and when I say the local park, I literally live about 2 minutes that way. Now the idea was, I filmed this video close to home, so I could come along, park Twingo RS up, I could walk back home and go and pick up my new car and park them alongside each other and be like, not only do I own the Twingo RS, but here's my new car. But as I say, as per title, I don't lie to you guys, I did have a new car. It was very short-lived because there was an issue with the car. It was dangerous, it was literally crusty. So what I'm going to do is, it's a bit windy outside and I'm fed up of people watching me, to be honest. You guessed it guys, get yourself a cup of tea and some chocky bickies. It's a talking video basically, so let's get in the car and tell you what's happened. Alright, let's get comfy in the Gordini seats inside my Twingo RS. So I had anticipated it on raining and it literally is now raining, hence me planning on filming the rest of this video inside the car. So by accident I came across and ended up buying another car, and it was another Renault RS. It was actually a Renault Clio RS 200. RS 200 meaning a Clio RS with 200 horsepower, but better than that, it was in the most stunning colour ever. Not only was it yellow, it was in the Renault liquid yellow, which if you don't know, I will put in some photos of the car, although I didn't have the car long so I didn't take many photos. But liquid yellow is like a pearlescent yellow, so in the sunshine, and when I first looked at the car, like the sun was shining on the yellow paintwork and it looked just stunning. Better than the Abarth yellows, I have to say. Abarth yellows are flat. I've owned a couple of yellow Abarths as well. Anyway, so when I say I bought this car accidentally, I came across it online accidentally. Typed in used cars onto this main dealer, and then one of the cheapest used cars to come up from this main dealer was this Renault Clio RS 200. Now, I didn't buy this from a Renault dealer, but obviously this had come in as like a part exchange. I don't want to go into too much detail because the dealership have been really good to me, so I don't want to like drop them in it. So I am going to be a little bit vague with some of my information. So I bought a Renault, not from Renault basically. It also came with a private plate. I was looking at this Clio RS, which was cheap by the way, and it came with a private number plate, which obviously got to be worth a few £100, so like an added bonus. So that evening I thought, wow, this is cheap. So online you could either pay to reserve the car or put in like a finance application. Thinking nothing of it, I thought, I'm not paying to reserve the car because I don't even know if I kind of want it or can get it. So I thought, I put in like a finance application. So I did that, put in some information, some figures, whatever, and obviously it was out of hours, so I did that one evening. And then I went to go and show my parents. I said, God, look at this Clio RS I've just found, and blah, blah, blah are selling it. And I went to go back into the car and it said reserved, and I thought, oh, that's a bit of a shame. Like, I've just shown genuine interest and you're telling me someone's gone in just as I have and they've paid the fee to reserve the car? And I was a bit like confused, and I was kind of excited to show my parents this car on this website. Then I also thought, well, I think someone else might have just got in there before me. The next morning I woke up and I thought, I'm keen, so I'm going to phone the dealership. And I said to them, look, I'm interested in this car. And they said, oh yeah, we can see you've put through a finance application. And I said, oh, can you tell me if by doing that I accidentally reserved the car or did someone else reserve it? And they said, no, by you doing that, you have obviously shown genuine interest and it does actually take the car off sale. So I thought, oh, cool. Because I thought someone else is going to snap this up when they see this car. And I was surprised it was still sale, basically. So, yeah, I had accidentally reserved the car for free by putting through a finance application. So that was cool. So basically the dealership were like, look, the car's still for sale. What do you want to do about it and stuff? So I had to go and find funding for the car, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty lucky and that went my way. So I went and test drove it that day. Yeah, turned up, the car was out the front of the dealership. As I say, the sun was shining on the liquid yellow paintwork and the private plate was on there, and that was obviously really cool. And I thought, yeah, this is like a proper bargain. I thought, if I buy it and then I got bored of it, which I usually do, guys, let's be honest with cars and me, I know that I can probably make a couple of grand on this car because it's really cheap. Because, like I say, this wasn't from a Renault main dealer. It had a few miles on it, but it was a Clio RS 200 in the rare liquid yellow colour. I knew that even if I didn't want to buy it for myself, I should just buy it anyway because I could probably make money on it. Take the plate off if I wanted to. That's a few £100. Sold a car for a couple of grand profit because of it's in that rare colour, basically. I test drove it. Obviously, it's really quick compared to this. This has got 130 odd horsepower. That had 200. It had been lowered a bit like this, but it didn't sound. It sounded good, but obviously not as good as this because this has got a Scorpion exhaust on it. But yeah, obviously much quicker. It looked great, but it was a bit tattier than this car. And this is actually a dealership. I've worked at a few of the dealerships around me in my local area. So this dealership I had actually worked at a good few years ago. So although I didn't know the salesman, they knew of me. And so the car was up for a price. Obviously, you want to haggle a bit. It needed a service. I knew that much. It was like not an approved used car. There's only so much money they wanted to spend on it. They'd put a new MOT on it and they were like, look, that would do. Anything else, you know, you do it. So they reduced the car by £300 just by me asking. Again, with that, knowing that it was overdue a service, but it had cam belts and it had full service history apart from it needing a new service. Yep, gave them the money and I picked up the car. Now, I was then obviously very keen to get it serviced. So I work at a Motor Factors, I can get the parts on the cheaper side. And because I work at a Motor Factors, one of the garages I delivered to, I could then get them to service it on the cheap for me, because then I can get proof it's been serviced with a legit invoice and a stamp in the service book. Okay guys, so this is where things just start to go a bit wrong. So I'd had the car about 3 weeks and it went to his garage for a service. They did the spark plugs first, filters, blah, blah, blah. Then it was the time for the car to go up on a ramp to drain the oil. The car had under trays on, so they had to remove that to get to the sump plug to then drain the oil. Then the guy I was stood next to him and, oh, that's not good, Amber. And I was like, oh yeah, look at that. Basically, the car was very rusty underneath. Now, that's quite generic. I'm pretty 90% sure we were poking at, and that was falling off in our hand, was the subframe of the car at the front. And I will insert some photos and a little video. And so this guy said, like, you don't want to crash this, Amber, because I'm pretty sure that's a subframe. And I was like, but I got sold the car with a new MOT. It did say about having some corrosion on the front of the car, like a radiator support. But also the MOT testers don't take off the under trays, do they? Because they just don't do that. So I generally think the dealership sold it to me not knowing that. So obviously I'm not impressed here. I'm paying to get this car serviced and it's like got a rusty subframe. I went onto like the Renault forums that I was on with a common problem. Wasn't actually going to be that expensive if I had to pay for it. But I thought, this isn't good. Like, this has really put me off the car now, because they were saying to me, look, it's probably a 2, 3, 4 hour labour job, plus you've got to buy the parts. So it wasn't like the end of the world. But, you know, what this garage would tell me was like, you've bought a bit of a dangerous car. Did you know it had this? And obviously I was like, no. And it was like proper flaking off, really, really crispy. And I thought, I'm not having this. So I had to get on the phone to the dealership that I bought the car from straight away. Now, bearing in mind, when I was sold this car, it wasn't like an approved used car. The salesman said to me, there is some sort of warranty. He said if your gearbox goes bang or your engine goes bang, if something substantial happens, which isn't wear and tear, then, you know, you're within your rights to kind of come and we'll do something about it. So this wasn't one of those cases, but this is also dangerous. Like, I would have bought the car if I'd known about this, and they probably wouldn't have sold it to me, I'd like to think, if they'd known about it. So I got on the phone to him, I said, look, I've got photos, I've got videos, I'm paying for the car to get a service, and the front subframe's literally fallen apart on the floor. And so they said, send us your evidence, we'll see what we can do. So then they come back to me and they said, like, you know, we did note a bit of that. I said, yeah, but you didn't know that was there, neither did I. But I didn't want to fall out with this dealership because they gave me money off the car, and you know, I don't really think they were to blame, and it's kind of one of them, a bit of a weird one. With that, they then come to the kind of agreement. They said, look, we can't seem to source one. Maybe they were going to Renault Direct, I don't know. They're like, we don't think it's a subframe. We don't think we've sold you a dangerous car, but yes, we can see the rust. Our master techs, again, who aren't Renault master techs, not a Renault dealership, from the evidence you've shown us, it doesn't look like the subframe, and I feel pretty sure it is, because other people have had the issue with these Clios. But anyway, they said that they're willing to, if I source a part and pay for it, they'd fit it, because I don't think the subframe's that much, a couple of £100 maybe. And then if I've been told it's 2 or 3 hours labour, which would be costly at a main dealership. So I think they were willing to provide me with the free labour and fitting it for me for free. I always had to pay a few £100 for the subframe. That was kind of like the only option they'd offered me. So with that, I sought advice from my friends and like talking to my parents about it. And I thought, do you know what? Like, I was happy to pay for a service because the car was sold to me and I knew it needed a service, but not this as well. I'd actually coincidentally booked this Clio in for a service, and I'd found this issue just within my 30 days. Now, we have rights as humans, we have human rights. And basically there's like a right that if you're sold a car that's like not up to standard, that's got something wrong with it, then you're within your rights to reject the car because it's within the 30 days. So I thought, I'm just going to do this. I put an email one night out of hours, sent the email off, and then the dealership called me. And they're like, look, he was kind of saying bad news, but then good news. He was like, oh, you know, you're not really allowed to go on the grounds of what you're trying to say. And I was like, well, yeah, because like it is like a defect with the car that I didn't know of, and I've bought the car with the defect. So, and they were like, well, yeah, you did know about it. I said, look, you told me there was rust, but like both of us knew that the subframe wasn't falling apart, literally. They're like, look, because you used to work for us, because also you want to return the car, you know. I said, look, it's nothing personal. And they were like, look, we're happy to take the car back. We'll give you a full refund. I said, look, I have paid out my pocket for a service. I'm not expecting that money back. It is what it is. And I was like, look, not being funny. You can have the car back ASAP. And that's exactly what I did. I returned the car back to this dealership that I bought it from. And I suppose that's kind of it, really. So you might be thinking, like, Amber, they offered you a solution. You know, if you'd spent a couple of £100 on a subframe, they would have fitted it for you. But then also, I was like kind of always comparing the Clio to this. So the Clio was quicker, much butte colour, worth more money. But then when I think about it, as I say, like this, apart from the manky steering wheel I'm looking at now, this interior is better condition than on the Clio RS, and the exterior is better condition than on the Clio RS. The Clio RS had some little greys on the body, which obviously you expect from an old car, but I've heard that the liquid yellow is quite a hard colour to match. Just thought, like, I know this is the slower car, the one that's worth the less money, but I just thought this car gives me more smiles, because on the Clio, I would have wanted to put an exhaust system on it. I maybe would have wanted to get the paintwork done, maybe, because it let down the car a little bit. It wasn't bad, but there was just greys on the bumper and paint chips and stuff. Whereas I look at this and, you know, as I say, it's got the cool exhaust on it. Again, it's been lowered, it's got the cool wheels. It's cheaper to run, it's smaller to drive. It's a bit easier because I've still got a dodgy wrist because the Clio RS was a 6-speed, which was cool, and it handled really well, don't get me wrong. Took it to a couple of local little car meets and stuff, and you know, it looked great with a private plate on it. I seem to get myself into situations in life where I get myself into a situation without thinking about it, but then when I'm in that situation, I then think about it, but it's too late. But I was lucky enough to be able to buy the car in the first place. I'm a little bit out of pocket, but they gave me money off in the first place, so it's kind of break even, fair kind of deal. But yeah, I'm glad I've got this, because with the Clio RS, I was having to rent a driveway for it to go on. I had to get some money, so I had to pay for each month. Obviously, it's another car's tax, insurance and stuff, which I could afford, but it's just a waste. And I keep telling myself, don't buy 2 cars, Amber. But like I say, I bought it anyway, whether I wanted it or not, knowing that I could probably private sell it for more money. It was cool, and I was going to have, you know, this and the Clio RS, the blue and the yellow in photos would look so good, and videos. There's actually a French car event on today, which I haven't gone to because the weather's rubbish, but I would have taken this. My brother would have taken the Clio RS for me. Oh, yeah, it would have been the ultimate RS Renault combo. Let me know if you agree. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I experienced it, because, again, I didn't know it had a rusty subframe. As I said, I'm 90% sure that is the issue. Obviously, they're going to resell it. The car isn't for sale as of yet. Then that gives me confidence that, obviously, something needs repairing on it, so I have done the right thing. But yeah, I'm left with my little Twingo RS, which is fun, more fuel efficient, obviously. It's my little first Renault RS, and you know, it's small like me, it's cheeky like me, it makes the right noises, and it looks good, I think. So yeah, I'm happy this one is still in my ownership, and I do think I've done the right thing with the Clio RS. Let me know in the comments below. Would you have just said to the dealership, yep, fair deals, fair dues, I supply the parts, you do the labour, or do you think I did the right thing by giving it back? Because I never quite felt like that car was mine, if that makes sense. I never quite had the love for it like I do this one. This one's got more charm and character. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you think I've done the right thing, or what you would have done, or I don't know, any ideas, advice. I did buy a new car, but unfortunately I had to go back to the dealership. It was a cool car as well. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So thanks for watching this one, bit of an interesting one, but yeah, not a video I wanted to make, to be honest. It was meant to be an exciting car reveal, another car reveal, but there we go. Yeah, thanks for watching this one, guys, and I will see you in another video. I think it's time we start doing some car features. Now I've got the new equipment and all that, so I think that's what we're going to do next, I think. So yeah, stay tuned for more automotive content from your automotive Amber, and I'll see you in another video.